In this video, I want to talk about fundamental rule I from ASME Y14.5-2018. So it reads, wires, cables, sheets, rods, and other materials manufactured to gauge or code numbers shall be specified by linear dimensions indicating the diameter or thickness. Gauge or code numbers may be shown in parentheses following the dimension. Now, the operative word there is shall, right? You shall show the actual diameter or the actual thickness, and it may be followed by the gauge or code number. A common example of this are customary threads. Under a certain number, specifically a 1/4 inch, threads are given as a number size. So for example, a number 10 thread has a major diameter of 0.190 inches. A number 6 thread has a major diameter of 0.138 inches. Now there's different threads per inches for these. You can have fine or coarse, and I'm sure you could do other ones as well. The chart I'm looking at just has fine or coarse. Now it's pretty established, right? The chart I'm looking at doesn't even show a decimal, right? This is just how it's been done forever. If you're into DIY stuff, you've probably heard of a number 8 screw, number 10 screw. You go to Home Depot, that's how they're packaged. It's not going to say this is a 0.190 screw. As you get to the larger sizes, that's not true anymore. They'll be indicated by fraction. And I know, metric and SI users are screaming at the screen, like, why is this so complicated? Why can't we just use metric or SI? I'll agree those threads are much easier to deal with in this kind of jumble mess of a system. But this rule in ASME Y14.5 is to kind of address this. So in this example, I'm saying, hey, we got a number 10 thread, 32 teeth per inch, and it's UNC 2A, etc. What this rule is saying is you can't put that on the drawing because you're not giving an actual dimension. You're telling them, hey, go somewhere else to find that information. Now, I'm not saying this is good or bad, right? I'm pretty sure if you go look up in ASME B1.1, you'll find that number 10 reference and be able to look up the major diameter. But the rule says shall. So to make this conform, we write the actual diameter, then in parentheses, the number, right? This makes it more readable for people that are looking for that number 10, right? And then the threads per inch, and then I almost messed up here. I was going to write UNC. 32 is going to be UNF, which is standard, if I can recall, for a number 10 thread. I think almost every thread, the standard is coarse. For some reason in my head, I think a number 10 screw, 32 is the go-to. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. UNF to A for external. Now, again, I'm not saying this is right, this is good or bad, but this is how it should be done on an ASME Y14.5 drawing for threads. For sheet metal, it's a little trickier, right? Because say I'll just tell you 22 gauge sheet metal. The next question you're going to ask is, what's the material? Because with sheet metal, different materials have different thicknesses for the same gauge. And let me look at a handy chart here. So for brass and aluminum, a 22 gauge is 0.02535. For cold and hot rolled steel, the same 22 gauge is 0.0299. For aluminum, copper, brass, and steel tubes, copper sheets, and hoop steel, it's going to be 0.028. For stainless steel, it's 0.03125. So you might say, well, if I just specify the material, then I'm good. And you might be right? That might be enough. If you specify the material, and you'll probably specify the ASTM standard, which will have tolerances in it. But what Rule I says, for better or worse, is that you can't just put the gauge for thickness, right? So we're going to say it's stainless steel. I'd have to go back to my chart and write down the actual thickness. Now, there's a can of worms here, and maybe you'll be able to add to the conversation in the comments. That's a lot of decimal places, right? So what's the tolerance on that? Well, if it's stock, there shouldn't be a tolerance, right? If it's stock material, you might write this, stock, right? So you're just indicating, just making extra sure that they know what the nominal thickness is. If it's not stock, that you could run into issues there. Are they supposed to machine it in some way or alter it in some way? I have to think about it a little bit more, but what I'm really getting across is this is what Rule I says. You shouldn't, for cable, for whatever I read before, cable, sheets, wires, etc. It's not enough just to put the nomenclature, the nominal, what we call it. Think about it like a 2x4, right? If you made a drawing of a shed, you'd say, hey, this is a 2x4. That's enough for a common person to go to Home Depot and buy a 2x4. But say somebody is going to redraw that, right? They're going to take it and say, oh, everything's 2 by 4 inches. It's not. It's 1.5 by 3.5 inches. So it'd be more clear if you said 1.5 by 3.5 inches, also called 2 by 4. Okay? So that's it. That's really all I had to say about this. I want to make a complete, video compilation of all these fundamental rules because they are important. ASME Y14.5 is more than just symbols for, hey, this means this. It's a whole system for creating engineering drawings that everybody can understand. So you might say, this is stupid, we don't do it this way, but it's good to know the rule because you might have a customer that says, hey, why do you do it this way? And then you can say, well, we differ from the standard for these reasons. You can have that documented, and it'll all work out. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below.